Hi, welcome to the Zoe Unfiltered Podcast. Today I have Amanda Niemann with me. I'm very happy to have you on my podcast.
Thank you, Zoe.
So it's actually crazy how we met. So we met through mutual friends, and then we have this insane story. You were new up and starting in our business, and Fear really, he had planned this trip, and it was a very small trip with basically family and some external friends. And he was like, we're going to Israel. And you're like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Israel. And he just like invited you. He didn't actually think that you were going to say, okay. And like, we barely know each other. You barely know him. I mean, I think you kind of know when you meet someone and it's like, oh, wow. It's like, I've known you forever and it's super comfortable and it feels familiar and it feels right. So I think, I feel like we had that for sure. But then you just up and left. You literally up and left. And you flew to Israel, and we barely know each other. And we're like, okay, we're together now, because we were the single girls on the trip at the time, right? And I remember, we went to the Dead Sea, and we floated together watching the sunset, and we rode camel together, and we saw Israel together and experienced Jordan and Petra, which was incredible. And so we had these like amazing once-in-a-lifetime experiences together. Like, just like that, almost like strangers.
Yes.
So I always thought it was really funny. And I always thought that our relationship and connection was super special and super weird, but funny and awesome and amazing all at the same time. So anyway, but I wanted to have you on my podcast because you were telling me your story, or starting to tell me your story when we first met. And I just think it's really interesting, and just everything that you've gone through and your background. And so I just want you to share that, because I'm sure I'm going to like jump in and have tons of questions. So please tell me about you.
Okay. Thank you, Zoe. That was a beautiful introduction of our friendship and how it was birthed. And I'm very grateful for the experience I had going to Israel with you and Kafir and Alex and everyone.
And it's never going to be the same again. It's so sad.
Yeah.
We had this crazy, it'll never be the same again.
Yeah.
And I really look back and I just treasure the moments that we had, and that we got to see this beautiful country and this beautiful state before it is now,
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, I know. I think it was almost like a joke initially, like, oh, like, do you want to go to Israel? And I was like, yeah. But
no one actually thought you would.
I know. And that's the funny part. I think I'm just very free-spirited, and I saw opportunity there to connect with you guys on a deeper level. With like, it was important for me to know who I was going into business with. And I feel like in that setting, I was able to really see who you all were and connect with your hearts. And that was super important to me. And I'm very grateful that I had that experience.
That's amazing. I love it.
Before embarking on this journey.
But you have to tell the story. Tell the story of like, what was the sign that you had to go to. It was so funny to me.
So I was in school, nurse practitioner school at the time, and I had the call with Kafir, and he said, we're going to Israel. And I said, the promised land? And he was like, yeah, would you like to come? And I was like, yes, but I am in school right now. I don't know if that's the best financial decision, because I'm, relying on financial aid and everything. And then we hang up the phone, and I was just like, wait a second. I'm like, I have 60,000 credit card points on this card. I have 70,000 credit card points on this other card. I could pretty much book my whole trip on credit card points. So the next day I'm in the clinic, and I just asked myself, I'm like, should I go to Israel? 30 seconds later, the doctor hands me a chart to see a patient, and his name was Israel. So I was like, I'm going to Israel.
You took that side. I think that's so crazy. That's so nuts.
The funniest part about it was I was still in school. So I'm like, I just made my decision. I'm going, but I'm like, I have school. I'm like, can't just pick up and leave, right? So I'm like, I have to think fast. I'm like, I'm withdrawing from my class, and I'm like, and I'm flying to Israel. And the funniest part was school didn't even approve it yet until I was walking on the plane, and they were like, we just wanted to let you know, like, we have the approval. It was very divine, but I'm very grateful that I made the decision to do so, because it was life-changing.
That's crazy. So what inspired you to get into nurse practitioner?
Well, I feel like I've always had a passion for people's health, wellness, things like that. Something I've taken care of in my own life. Nutrition was something that I initially loved and appreciated, and learned a lot about at a younger age, but then I wanted to be more involved in taking care of the person, like, and having more like decision making and what they were doing with their life, I guess, not their life, but having more ability to help them with their decision making in terms of like health and wellness and everything like that. And I've always been very passionate about mental wellness. And I feel like finances go hand in hand with mental wellness. You know, I've seen a lot of times people come in and be very stressed out, have anxiety, feel anxious, I should say, feel depressed, things like this. And lots of times there was a money component involved. And so I think that, to me, when I think of mental wellness, I think having a healthy relationship with finances is very important. And that, I think, stems from financial education. And I think that we're not receiving that in our education system. I think that that should change. And I think that I am grateful to be in this career because I feel like we have an opportunity to service a lot of people that need financial education.
I love this combination of being an actual, trained nurse and then also a licensed financial person, and those combinations, because I feel like you are such a caring, nurturing person. And I feel like that also makes you do a better job for people, because I've noticed that through working with you that you really go the extra mile and you really care about your relationships and the people and the outcomes and stuff like that. Not that other people don't, but there's like this extra element that I feel like kind of fits with that nurse, nurse hat, that just never comes off, because you always have that, like, even when I'll even think of you to just ask for advice on, hey, what do you think about this matcha or something like that, because like, I know that you're going to know, I know that you're going to have an opinion. You have tried it all out, or you have like okay, these are my go-tos for blah, and so it's really nice. It adds that like, caring, like family, like element to the business, which I think is awesome.
I love that.
So, yeah, I mean, I wanted just this chance to kind of talk about this stuff, but I also like your own personal story, like your own journey. So you were telling me that you have always had a passion for nutrition. Like, did you run into anything yourself personally that had like really like changed your entire mindset on how you were going to go about and helped like build that passion inside of you?
Yeah, well, I think when I was younger, my parents fed me a lot of fast food.
Okay.
And so when I turned 18, I got a job and I was like, I'm no longer going to put this in my body. I'm going to take good care of myself. And I started cooking for myself. I haven't eaten fast food in 13, 14 years, or since I was like 18. And
I wish I was better. You put us all to shame, Amanda.
Well, sometimes people are like, well, what do you mean? Like, what if you're hungry and you're out? I'm like, I find a healthier option. I mean, even at the gas station, there's fruit,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think it comes down to discipline.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's that delayed gratification, right? So maybe not in the immediate, it was something that was a valuable thing. But I mean, over time, you develop that discipline to take better care of yourself. You know what I mean?
Delayed gratification. That's a very good subject. If you think about it, I mean, you can apply the same thing in money. You can apply the same thing in finance and business. That ability and that discipline, if you can harness that power in everything that you do, you can really have a lot of success. So it's great to see like how you have full control over your health. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a really good thing to teach people.
Yeah.
It's so true. People make so many excuses like, fast food, it was easy. I'm like, you're right. You can go into a gas station and you can buy fresh fruit at a gas station. You can also buy an egg, a hard-boiled egg at a gas station. They sell most things, no matter what your diet is. There's usually vegan items. There's usually keto items. There's literally no reason. And even at a fast food place, you can order a healthy food from a fast food place. Like, just because it's fast food doesn't mean it has to be like deep fried, for example. Or it doesn't mean you have to, guzzle a 20-ounce Coke or something like that, right? So It's so funny, but people use these excuses, but it's not actually true. Mm-hmm. It's not actually, like, there are so many options there. It's just you have to see it and be willing to like make those choices because you want to. But it's really cool because how I've observed you, like, you just like those healthy options. Like, I don't ever see you feeling like, oh, I can't do it. Because Because when people are on diets and stuff like that, they're like, oh, I want it. And there's like this push pull and it's like, oh, I wish I could. And then you feel bad, but you just like it. Like you're just like, no, I don't like it, or no, I don't need it. And I feel like that's such a mentally healthy place to be.
Yeah.
I want to be more like that.
Well, you are.
I have been getting better and better, honestly. So,
yeah, you have been. You've been making drastic changes in your life. Yes. 100%.
Especially
with the matcha.
I know, with the matcha.
That's a go-to.
I'm switching over a little bit. I found that matcha mushroom kind of blend thing, and that seems to be like a new, healthier, cleaner caffeine, that doesn't make you as jittery. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it's finding the things that work, and it's good. So I know we already went into this, like mindset, delayed gratification, stuff like that. What are your most successful actions? Because I feel like at this point, you kind of it's just part of your whole being. You've adopted it. It's your lifestyle. If you don't do that, it seems like you see, and I've been through it too. It's like almost like a yo-yo and a roller coaster, because anytime I'll do a plan, if I don't have like an actual stable thing that I'll adopt after that, I just go back,
Makes sense.
That's gotten a lot better. I mean, I have definitely stabilized at the level that I am right now. And I was just talking to someone else earlier, and I'm like on my phase 2 of my health journey.
Love it.
I lost 150 pounds. There's still more to go. I do want to, feel great about my health, but I have to live happily and not feel like I'm not letting myself have things or forcing myself to do things that I don't want to do. So I'm trying to do that on a gradient where it's like I'm adopting these things and I enjoy them. I like them, or, I can actually see myself living in this way as a consistent kind of habit, right? Mm-hmm. What are your successful actions on that?
The first thing that comes to mind, actually, because I feel like there's been phases to eliminating different bad habits that I had. And I think a lot of it came down to what I felt the emotion like it was going to bring me to have those things, right? So if I think of how in this last, because with working out, are you talking about working out?
Let's talk about working out.
Working out. Okay. I would say for me, I love variety. Mm-hmm. So I like to switch it up every few months, keeps it exciting, challenges my body. Something that I love, Pilates. I've done kickboxing. I've done different types of group trainings and things like that. Sometimes I'll hire a personal trainer just to give me that accountability and push me to a different level. So just kind of switching things up, I think, has been something to help me break through those thresholds that I've had. And so just doing the same thing every single day. Because there was something else that I think it's more relevant to finances.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So I would say that I was really trying to evaluate myself and my decision making in regards to my finances. And I felt like I spent a lot of money on self-care, which is great. Love taking care of myself and everything. But the thing that I realized was some of the things that I was doing it because I felt like it was going to make me feel better, right? So getting that Starbucks matcha, or going and getting the massage and things like that, which all those things are fine. But to me, I really wanted to be at peace inside and not feel like, oh, I need this in order for me to feel better, right? So now I feel like I have a different outlook on things in terms of me making purchases and things like that. I'm not doing it from a place of, okay, this is going to make me feel better. I try to self-soothe in other ways, and then kind of be more, I guess, disciplined in my decision making. So it's not coming from an emotional, okay, I need this.
I could say the same thing about someone going to a tub of ice cream or something. It is the same thing. It's just in a different area. Mm-hmm. But that's such a healthy place to be, to not feel that you need to go there for that to create that impact on you, because the impact or that feeling needs to come from yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. And then when you do that, you're less effective, your actions, you're more on the cause point of being able to make decisions that are actually, you can in the moment. If you want to go get that Starbucks, that's great. If you want the massage, that's great. But that you're not going there for that to have some impact on you. Mm-hmm. I love that. I actually do. I really love that. I think that's super, super relatable. I never thought about it like that, because I think for me, my version of that was always food. Mm.
That makes
which
sense.
obviously costs money. However, it wasn't like it was the same thing, but like slightly different, right? So I don't know. It's always interesting having these conversations because I always find like something that's kind of aligned with, like, there's a lot of general like truths and laws in the universe that all kind of like fit alongside each other. It's interesting seeing the parallels, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Like, what's your purpose? What's your goal? What's your vision? What's your dream?
Good question. Well, I feel like my dream and my vision is to positively impact the lives of other people, financially, personally, professionally. And that's been my vision, also to help people with their mental wellness. I think all of this ties into that.
Yeah.
Health, wealth, happiness.
Yeah.
It's an important part of that. I think in micro moments, doing that every single day on a daily basis, even if it's an interaction in the grocery store where I'm talking to somebody for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Just to say, I've never met anyone like you that can literally turn a stranger into a lifelong friend in like 2 seconds. It's so funny because I have met so many people that, or at least a few people that you've introduced me to, or that we've met through each other or something. And it's like, how did you guys meet? It's like, oh, we just like ran into each other at a grocery store and then we had a 2-hour conversation. And next thing you know, we're soulmates. It's so funny. No, it's incredible. You have this skill. I can't. It's like, you can't teach it. It just is in someone, but I think it's amazing. So I love that. And I think you're one of the better people to be able to do that because you have this ability, which is super awesome.
Well, the funny thing about that is, though, I used to not be as communicative.
Really?
Yes, I think that came over time because of all the networking and the going to different business conferences where I stepped outside of my comfort zone and things like that, to where I got more comfortable with who I was.
You forced yourself into it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Putting myself in all these different environments where I'm like, I'm by myself and I know nobody and I'm just going to talk to people, or if I'm in a new area, need directions or something like that. And then I start talking, so just different things like that where you find an opportunity to connect with people. And
I was looking back and I was like, when I was 16, I didn't like people at all. Like I actually was like, I don't want to talk to people. So I look at how much growth I've had. I have much love for mankind and individuals now. But I think back then I was just like, I don't even, if there's any grief or anger, like stay away from me. I can't even have it,
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy how that happens. Okay. So for the important question.
Yes.
Where are we traveling next? What's our next vacation?
Very good question.
We need to figure this out. Maybe you should come and visit me when I go to Dubai next month.
Skydiving in Dubai.
I don't want to skydive. I'm so scared.
I do.
I'm definitely into adventure, but skydiving is the only one that I'm like,
well, that's why I want to do it though, because I feel like I don't want to have any fears in life. And I'm like, they're definitely going to have to kick me out of the plane, but I'm not going to be willingly jumping out. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I was really excited to have you on because I think a good podcast is a good conversation, and we always have really good conversations. And right. I really appreciate it. I always feel elevated after talking to you. So
I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you, Zoe.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. If you like what you had to hear, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.